already, everything is on the table again for a new DIY. I hope you are in the mood also for making a new DIY and you join me. Of course, what we need is, of course, the tumbler tower blocks, the smaller blocks. We need the container with everything inside, some scissors, markers, brushes, some mud pots and twine, and of course the wood glue. I always use a cheap brand wood glue, but of course you can use some hot glue, but always be careful that it doesn't break. I have here my old saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel which is wet to wipe away the glue. I have here some paint, but you can choose any paint you like. This is just an example. What we're going to make, we are going to make a Christmas truck, but of course we are going to make it with a twist because I want to make it especially for small spaces, so he won't be very wide, but he has the side of a normal truck. But of course you can easily decorate it. It doesn't take a lot of room for your truck. So we will see how this will turn out, because maybe it looks really bad. We have no idea. So we will see how it will turn out. Always make sure for the DIYs, make sure that you have 4 until 5 packages laying around from the tumbler tower blocks. Then you always have enough for the DIY. So the first step will be the wheels. And I know the wheels are always very tricky. You can use some round you have laying around. I have now on my drill, I have such a round, and so metal round you can make easy holes with. I tried it with my train. It worked, but it was really a task. So I'm sorry, I'm really going to do it this time. I'm going to do it different. But if you have the tool, just go ahead and do whatever you think is right. I'm going to make it a little different because I also want to have the wheels a little bigger. So I'm going to choose for 4 rows of 5. 4 rows of 5. What we're going to do, we're going to take 3. We're going to do some glue on the side and on this side. So I'm going to make it myself a little difficult. Number 4, I'm going to do some glue on the side and I place it on the top. I do number 5 and I place it halfway over here. So in a moment I will show you exactly how he's looking like. So don't worry, it looks strange right now, but this way I have a little bit of a bigger round. And if you have such a drill here where you can make those wheels in, it's always nice. And I always find it, you always have a little round open inside here because your drill needs to go through. So I'm going to do it different. I know there are people who say you can make it easy round. Of course I will. But this time I'm going to do it a little different. So I'm going to turn it around, make it clean so you can see it a little better. So this is how he's looking like right now. So I did 3 over here, 1 over here, and 1 exactly in the middle of this one. So this is very easy to see how this one is turned out. And this is, I'm going to let this dry in for at least 1 until 2 hours before I'm going to get my saw and I'm going to saw it out. But if you have a better plan, I always say this is just an inspiration. Do whatever you think is right. So I'm going to do again 1 of 3 and number 2 of 3, and of course he is already number 3. And I'm going to squeeze it, going to take my loose block, place it on the top, over here, and do 1 over here, halfway. And then I'm going to squeeze it, press it together, and make sure that everything sticks nicely. We do here the same. And this way I can easily get my jigsaw and saw it out. But of course, I don't know what I'm doing. You see already, I'm totally going wrong. This one needs to go on this side. Oh my. You see, this is DIY. Normally you can talk and DIY at the same time, but of course not with me. You see, this one needs to go over here and this one needs to go halfway. So again, talking and working, it is a task. You see already, and the last one, number 1 and number 2, we just glue them together. We do this one on the top, over here, and this one halfway. And then we have all of our pieces for the wheels, because now he's a little bigger and now I can make the round also a little bigger. But you also can go, if you have one smaller, you can go for only 3 blocks and then saw it out. But it is, I have to be honest, it is difficult with a jigsaw to saw it out. So make the wheels any way you like. So now we have already the part of the wheels done. Everyone can do it their own way. I have now my 4 rows of 5. We're going to make the bottom of the truck. So we're going to do 4 rows of 5 rows of 4. I have to say it right. And this is already 1. And this is very easy to do, and that's why I do it because my space is not really so big. So I thought, why don't I do a truck which is easy to make and also easy to place in your decor. You can place it anywhere, because if it's too big, it's always difficult to place it somewhere. And this is already the last, and we're going to squeeze it together, and finally at the ending over here, and this one. And if we have squeezed all of them, then we're going to wipe away the glue to be sure that everything is nice and clean. So this way and this way over here. And always when you wipe away the glue, go back to your piece and always make sure, feel with your fingers. And if you have a carpenter square, it's totally fine. Then you have this problem, not this problem. So I'm going to let it rest at least a couple of minutes. So we did wait a couple of minutes. We're going to turn all of them and we place them in one row. So we're going to do some glue on the top side over here. Place it down. We do here the same. Place it down. And number 3. And over here. And number 4. And number 5 is of course the closure up. And now we're going to gently squeeze it in, and we're going to fill in gently the open gaps in between, and always feel with your fingers to the side. Make sure that you have a nice piece which is connecting nicely together. Over here, this is in a straight line, and this one. And now we're going to let this dry on the side. So in the meantime, while the bottom is drying, we have 4 rows of 2 and 1 row of 4. That will be the place where the motor is sitting. So you call it the engine, if I'm correctly. We call it motor. So I told it already in Dutch. So you learn also a little bit of the Dutch. So again, we do on the side and we place them together. And we do here, of course, also the sides and place them together. So very easy. Squeeze it and fill it in. And this one from the side, because you want that it is squeezed right together, not gently, or else you get open gaps. And that's not what we want. We are going to wipe away the glue over here and over here. And always, like I told you, go back and make sure that you have a straight line. Of course, over here also. And we're going to look for that it's straight. Now we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. So we gave it a little bit more than a couple of minutes. I would say take 15 minutes to let this dry. What we're going to do, we're going to take 2 pieces and we do on the smallest line, on the tops, we do some glue, place it down. We do here the same on this side and on this side, and we're going to place it down. We get one of the other ones and we're going to make sure that we have them over here, and we do this one on this side. So we get a nice, you call it a rectangle. It's not totally a square, but you call it, I think, a rectangle or rectangle. Maybe, I hope I am at least saying it right. So, and then we're going to give it some pressure. And we're going to let this dry in for at least 5 until 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to turn this one over and I'm going to do some glue a little on the inside, totally around over here, because we're going to glue it on the one of 4, this one. Turn it over and we place it on top of here. And on the sides it sticks over a little, and on the other side it probably fits totally. So just let it stick over even and not one side more than the other. Try to do it as even as you can, and then give it some pressure from the top over here. Then we're going to let it settle in for a little moment, and then we're going to wipe away our glue. So if everything is correctly, you just have a nice, simple little box. You see, this is how the sides look, and this is the inside. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get one loose block, because later there will be two little lights on top. I will place this one on one side of my little box. So I place it on the side, and I place this exactly in the middle over here, and I'm going to let this dry in also for a couple of minutes. So I want to show you also now how the front is looking like. So you have just one simple block on the front side, and now it looks a little strange because it still has the wood color, but later, trust me, it will look okay. So I'm going to place this one also aside. What we're going to do, we are going to get 1 of 4, we're going to get 2 of 4, and we're going to get 3 of 4. We get 2 of 3, like this one, and then we're going to glue them together. So it's very easy. You have 3 of a 4 and 2 of 3. So like this, you roll them very easy and fast on each other, of course on the smallest line of your blocks over here. And now the 2 of 3, and this is the last already, and this will be kind of the sides and the door of your truck over here, this one. And we squeeze also the 3 of 4, and I'm going to wipe away the glue, and of course we're going to give it a couple of minutes drying. So now we're going to take the 2 of 3, this one we do a little on the side. We take some loose block. What we're going to do, we do some of 3, we place it in the longest line. We do a loose block, and we place it over here on the outside. We do here the same, do some glue on the tops, and only place it on this outside. So you get an opening of 1 block over here. So again, and we take a number 2. We do some loose block, some on the top of the block, and place it on the ending of the 1 of 3. And again, the last, also over here, we're going to place this one at the ending of this number 3. And we're going to wipe away the glue, and then we're going to make sure that we have them in a straight line again, and this way, and we're going to let it dry in for at least a couple of minutes. So now we gave it a couple of minutes. Now we're going to place our sides of our door. We're going to place side, we get a loose block, we do some glue on this side. This is a little tricky, so I'm going to show it to you later also a little bit closer. I'm going to place this one not in this direction, but in the smallest line. If you have your door this way, I'm placing at the ending, but a little over the halfway, and I'm going to place it over here. I'm going to wipe away the glue, and in a moment I show it to you a little closer. Don't worry, because I want to be sure that you have it on the right place, so you get a kind of a window inside, and it looks nicer than if you glue it on the outside. So I'm going to let it dry in for a little moment, and then I show you. So in the meantime, while this is resting, I place it aside. I'm going to take 2 of the 4. I'm going to do some glue on the tops over here, like this, and we're going to place them together until one piece. And this way, feel with your fingers that you have a nice line. Also, wipe away the glue and make sure that everything is fitting nicely together. And again, you see already I have to go a little to the side. So this will be the back side of the truck where you are sitting in. This way. So I did let it dry, and you see it is very easy to do. You just place it on this side, a little bit over the half of the 2 blocks which are coming together. So like this, you just place it on top. You see in a moment exactly what I mean. So what we're going to do, we place the double 1 of 4 blocks on top of each other, place it this way. We do some glue on this side. So very gently over here. And we do some glue on this side. And we place this straight up and we place this against each other. And this is already one. Now we do some glue on one of this side over here. And we place this one in between. And if everything is correctly, it's fitting nicely. So again, we're going to give it some pressure. And of course, these two are sticking out a little of this one. But of course, that's a little bit the overlay because the blocks are never the same size. So I'm going to shape it a little and then we're going to let it dry in. So if everything is correctly, you have now this shape. You have the back side of the double of 4. You have here the sides, this one. And of course, in the middle, you have now on front a little piece. And of course, it's always a little bit tricky if you place it a little too high or too low. But there's always a solution if you place this one a little too high. It doesn't matter because probably I will have mine also a little bit too high. But then we do a block on top of front of it. So this is not a problem. So if everything is correctly, you have this shape. Like I said, the 2 of 4 and here 1 of 3. The loose blocks on top of here, one in the middle and on the other side the same. So what we're going to do, we're going to get the bottom. We're going to get our little box we made earlier. We're going to get the open side and we do some glue on the inside of this rectangle over here. And we place this one on top of here, exactly on the first row of the blocks. And if everything is correct and you have a little bit like the same measurement of my blocks, he is sticking out on this side a little and on the other side, and on the front he has to be fitting nicely. So again, give it some pressure and we're going to give it a couple of minutes dry. So now you see already you have the front of the truck on top of here. It looks very strange. If I see it right now, it looks very strange, but it doesn't matter as long at the end if we are going to get it looks also like kind of a slipper. It doesn't matter. We are going to get this part and now we're going to carefully turn it upside down and we do some glue also on the inside over here and over here. And we're going to do, of course, a little on this side and on this side over here. And of course, I did it already too high. You only need to do the underside. I see already, if I place it this way, you have some glue on the top side, but you don't have to do that, of course, but I can remove it very gently away. So we're going to place it down. We're going to squeeze it. And of course, we feel with our fingers, so we have this one also over here in a straight line. And this way, and give it some pressure from the top. And of course, you see already, I have my brush and I'm going to take away the glue on the front side because I did glue it too high and on this side. And then we're going to let this dry in also for a couple of minutes. So if everything is correctly, you have right now this piece over here. You are having this glue together. We're still missing the roof, of course. That's the other one of 4 we have over. But you see already I have a little space in between. I did place my block a little too high, but it's easy to redo. We are going to place one of the blocks over here. We're going to do some glue over here and we place this one over here and it even looks nicer. So even when you glued it right, I would recommend just glue this one on top also. So I wanted to show you also a little closer. So I did just lay the block flat on top of here, just did some glue and I'm just glued it this way like this. So, and you see already on the back side is a little of glue, so we're going to take it away. And now we're going to make the back side of the truck. So we place this aside and let it dry further. So for the back side of the truck we need 7 rows of 3. So 7 rows of 3, very easy, just place them down and also do the smallest line with some glue. And you, of course, if your preference is a little bit that you like it a little higher, it's also fine too, because You can change this truck up any way you like. And you even can make it wider. If you don't like the small trucks, you have a big space where you want to have it, you can of course double it up and just make it wider. And this way we're going to squeeze it. But here in the Netherlands, the houses are not really that big. So because we live already very close to each other, I think a lot of you have more space around their home than we have here in the Netherlands. So we're going to squeeze it and we're going to let this dry in. So now we're going to place 3 of them on, we turn them so we have the line in the longest line this way, so not straight up but this way. We're going to do some glue on this one, some glue on this one, and we're going to roll them together, all 3 of them, and we're going to gently fill in the open gaps because we don't like open gaps. We wipe away the glue, and if the gaps are not really gone and you really don't like it, maybe you can use some speckle, maybe you could to wipe it to make it smooth. I'm going to turn this one. I'm going to do some glue on this one too and on this one, and then we're going to roll also this 3 together. You keep one loose open. So again, feel with your fingers for the straight line and wipe away the glue, and we're going to give this some at least 10 minutes rest also. In the meantime, while the sides and the back side of the truck is drying, we are going to take 3 and another 3 because I want to give it a nicer look on the back side, and of course later a loose block, but for the sides we use 3, and we're going to do some glue on the tops. We do some glue on the tops over here, roll them together until one piece. We do here the same, and with this one also. And again, we're going to squeeze them together in one piece. And we're going to let this rest also at least 15 minutes until it is nicely settled in. So in the meantime, while these 2 pieces are drying, also the same like the sides are drying over here, I have here my truck, and of course I showed it to you already with my last block of 4, because if everything is correct, you still have laying around 1 of 4. And of course I showed it to you already so nicely like this, but he was just loose. So I thought this is not right. Of course we just do some glue on the tops over here and over here, because I don't do this side because this one will be sticking out, and I think I'm going to do 2 little pipes out of here. So I'm just going to place them very gently and easy on the front of this tool, and we're going to get my small brush, this one, and we're going to go over it and wipe away the glue. I do it on this side and on this side, and be sure, feel with your fingers that you have at least on the front side a straight line. So now our roof is really sticking on top of here. So now we're going to get our 2 pieces which are 3 of 3. So we're going to get, and the 2 pieces of 3, the loose one, we do gently, we go doing some glue on this side. So very carefully on this one, we place it down, and we place this one straight up, and we're going to place them against each other this way. And we do here the same, we place this one straight up, do some glue, place it down, and we place this one, of course, on this side. So, and we're going to let this dry in also. So now we have the 2 sides which have a nice overlay. Now we want also the back side to have a nice piece. So we do here the same, we do some glue on this side, and we place this one, of course, against here and squeeze it, and make sure that you have it in a straight line. Wipe away the glue from the sides, and we're going to let this rest also. And then I show you the problem we have. So I told you, I tell you about the problem, but I think you already see the problem. Because I made a back side of my truck where I can do later 2 little pipes on top, you see, I thought 3 blocks will look nicely, but of course it's not totally 3. We are missing one little piece. And you see now we have the problem that he is too short. So what I'm going to do, because for everything is a solution, so don't worry about it, we're just going to take 2 blocks like this and we're going to glue them together. That's the first step what we're going to do. We're just going to take 2 blocks, glue it together, and we're going to let it dry in for at least 15 minutes. So I have placed here my truck, I have here my 2 block, I place it over here, and I can easily make sure that I have over here, I make with my marker the line. Of course, I'm going to do this also on this side and make a line over here. And now I'm going to pull the line through and this way. And this is the piece which I need to cut off like this. So very gently I'm going to go to my garage. Maybe you even have a cutter. I already heard that there is also a cutter which I can cut the little blocks. So I don't have it, I only have my saw. So I'm going to saw it out and then we're going to glue it on the back side. So then we have our truck again, the size we need. So now I have here my piece which is cut off. We are going to do some glue on this side, very gently. And we're going to place it on the back side. So now our truck is a little bit longer. And if everything is correctly, he has to fit right now on top of here. But you never know. It's always a question. So we are going to place one over here. But of course, we make sure that this one is sticking out. You see here, one side is sticking out. And I do the sticking outside on the outside. Oh, that's a really thing to say, the outside on the outside. I show it to you in a moment. Of course, I'm going to place this one over here. He has a little bit of overlay, so don't place it too on the side. So this is one. And I do here on this side, of course, the same. I do here some glue on this side and on the other side. Over here and place this one over here, and I'm not going to squeeze it yet because my back side still needs to come in. And of course now we have this one and we make sure that this sticking side is on the inside, not on the outside. Of course you can place it on the outside if that's what you like. You can do that. I have to look for if I like that or not. Of course I have to make sure that I work it in between. No, I'm going to do it on the inside. So I'm going to take my piece. I'm going to glue this over here. I'm going to glue this one over here and on the other side. And then I'm going to place this one in between. Of course, I have to be careful. I place it here and then I'm going to gently fill in my pieces on this side and this side. And gently becoming. And of course, the main part is, of course, make sure that you take your time. That's the most important. Always take your time. Because if you want to do this in a hurry, it goes wrong. I can tell you out of experience, if you want to do it in a hurry, it doesn't work. So I have to go over here. I make sure that I have a little overlay on this side and this one, and if I have everything in place where I want to have it. And the greater thing what we have right now, because now he can stick out a little piece, it even looks like, we call it a bumper. I don't know how you call it, the one behind on the front and the back side in silver most of the time. So we call it in the Netherlands a bumper. So if everything is correctly, you have now the same like I do, a little overlay over here. It looks like a bumper, at least we call it this way. I have here the front side like this, and I hope you can see it, this how it is really built. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make sure that I like this a little better than I do right now. So I'm going to do this 4 blocks. You don't have to do the same like I do. I just do my inspiration, but you can change it up any way you like. So I take 4 blocks and I make a row of 4. because I want to give it a little bit of a piece which is one of the back side of the truck and a little on the front side. So a little, yeah, kind of, no, not a room divider, but at least, at least a piece in between. So, oh my English, I wish I did it better, but of course I have to deal with it. It is half Dutch, half English, so I'm sorry. So we have our 4-piece and we're going to give it a couple of minutes drying. So now I have here my piece of 4 and I'm going to glue it on top of here. So I'm going to do some glue in the space we have left over on this side. So I'm going to do one over here and a little bit on this side. And then we're going to, oh, of course, not this way. I don't know. I don't know why I did that. Of course, we need to glue it this way. And we're going to place it in between them like this. So you see, at least the trucks here in the Netherlands have, most of the time, the front is a little bit higher than the back side. So I'm going to let this dry in also. Now we're going to make our wheels. So I have here my 4 pieces, which will be my wheels. And of course I have now just a simple round I use for making my round. And of course, if you are just really great in doing it with the drill, it's also fine too, because I'm just going to do it this way because at least I have to do it myself. My husband is on his work, so I really have to do it myself. So I'm going to go for this one, and I hope that I get them as round as possible. So of course, with such a drill, you get it better. You saw it out with such a round saw in your drill. It's always better than what I do, but of course, do whatever you think is right. So I'm going to lay it on top of here, make sure that I have it in the middle, and I'm going to just very easy and gently, I'm going to make my lines around over here. And I take my time for it, and of course you see in a moment when they are sawed out. So I have my 4 wheels, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint them. Of course I'm also going to paint my truck. So I'm going to do the truck in the red color, and I'm going to do the wheels in the black color. So we will see how this will turn out. I chose for a little bit of the brighter red, of course, but you can do any color. Maybe you like the black better, or maybe white. Just do whatever you think is right. This paint is not totally covering. He is only give it a nice layer, but you still can see the structure of the woods coming through. And that's what I like. So you see, it only gives a nice red color, but it doesn't really cover it at all. So I'm going to paint the whole piece in red. And later we're going to decorate it, of course, with different things. But first, red. So my truck and of course the wheels are drying in black. What I'm going to do on the middle of the wheel, I'm going to do a little half wooden bead. So I have here my a little bag with lots of sizes of half wooden beads. So I'm going to take a very small size like this, and I'm going to paint it in the brown color, and I'm going to glue it on my wheels in the middle on the outside. So you see that in a moment, but I won't bore you with all the painting. So I'm going to make them in the brown color. So you see here, I have here my 4 wheels. I have my 4 brown half wooden beads, and I'm going to do some glue in the middle, and I place them also in the middle. Do here the same. Some glue, place it in the middle, and over here, and this one. And the last, and of course I'm going to let them dry also. And now we're going to go do some lettering on our truck. And of course we are going to do some letters on this side, but first I'm going to do the lights. And of course I can do the lights yellow like they're supposed to be, maybe, or white, but I'm going to go for a little bit of the Christmas color green. So I'm going to do 2 of the back side of the half wooden beads. I painted green, and 2 on the front. Of course it's not the original color, but I think it gives a more like a Christmassy look. But you can change this up. I do it for this season, but you can make it in the brown color, black color, and do it for every year round. So you don't have to do this color. Just do the color which you think is right for your decor. So I do on the side of my truck the word trees, but of course choose anything you like. You can change it up. If you do it for everyday decor, you probably do something different, but just do whatever you think is right. So I'm going to go for this way. I do it a little bit in a bow. Yeah, this I think you call it a bow, like this. So I'm going to do trees on each side. So now I have my letters on top, and of course what I'm going to only need to do is of course the wheels on top, and everyone does the wheels their own way. Some people do some blocks under it. Over here of course I didn't paint the underside because you don't see it. You do some little block over here and then glue the your wheels on top of here, but I will see. I think I'm going to do it halfway and just glue them, both of them here and two of them over here. So you see already I have two of the wheels, a little bit both of them on the outside, and I just did it with wood glue. You can do it of course with hot glue. I'm going to give it a little time to dry, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the other side, the other two wheels. And then I hope he will stand on his own. But you see in a moment a quick impression how I decorated it for this season. And here you see finally a quick impression of my tumbling tower blocks little truck. Of course, this one is especially for small spaces, so I hope you give this one also a try. For everyone who is new here, I hope you enjoy what you saw, and if you do, I hope you will click the red subscribe button, give me a thumbs up and hit the bell so you will be notified every time I upload new DIYs. For more DIYs, come on over to the description box, there you find the link for the DIY channels. Hope to see you there. Have an amazing day. See you in the next one. Bye.